Something has been really bothering me about the seasons as well as the cosmetics for Diablo 4. For one thing, as most of you know, the cosmetics, as I've talked about a few times, is ridiculously expensive. But they have been adding newer cosmetic items to the shop. A few that I'm actually kind of sort of interested in for my sorcerer. For example, Black Jade. I really like the look of this cosmetic on my sorcerer. By the way, my sorcerer is my main character on the Eternal Realm. I'd probably take the helmet off, but the rest of the outfit looks pretty sweet. Now, it's not the only outfit that I have considered. It's also this one, Mother's Mercy. So this also looks really good on my sorcerer. Once again, my primary character on the Eternal server. Now, two problems. One, obviously expensive as hell. If you were to combine the price tags for this outfit, which is 2,200 platinum, along with Black J, which is 2,800 platinum, that's basically 5,000 platinum coins. And the best deal is 50 bucks. I currently have 920 platinum, and obviously I'm a little short of 5,000 right now, so I'd have no choice if I wanted to buy either or both of those items, those cosmetics, these outfits for Janine, my sorcerer, on the Eternal Realm. I'd have to shell out some money. You know, it's microtransactions. It's the way it is. I just wish that these items were a little cheaper. But the other issue that keeps coming up for me personally, and the reason why I haven't pushed the button on the Black Jade outfit or Mother's Mercy, is one painful apparent reason. Here's the problem. We're playing on the seasonal server, not the Eternal server for the Battle Pass for Season 1, Season of the Malignant, with a Necromancer. Because I'm going to change it up every season. I'm going to use a different class just to try out the different classes. Everything that we're doing this season is in the seasonal server, not the Eternal server. In other words, most people are not even touching their Eternal characters. Their primary characters are just being left by the wayside. So does it really make sense for me to waste money buying cosmetics for Janine, my level 68 sorcerer, when I'm not even really playing in the Eternal Realm right now? I'm focused on the seasonal server and trying to grind the Battle Pass for Season 1. It really doesn't make sense. And I think this is one of a few flaws that this system has for Diablo 4 players. I realize Diablo 3 players had something very similar, and other games like PoE and RPGs do something similar. They have a seasonal server for seasonal characters, time limited. But the difference is Diablo 4 was built to try to balance interest between veteran Diablo fans and new players. And most new players become attached to their primary or secondary character. And in a lot of games, like for example, Fortnite, a lot of us play with the same skins. Or we change up the skins. And every new chapter, every new season, they add new skins to Fortnite. But we still can play with those skins. Right now, because of the fact that I'm playing with a Necromancer, I cannot use the cosmetics. Which I understand that. I do. Because there are cosmetics for each class. But I guess my problem is I just think that Blizzard made a mistake by not tying all this together, making it more simplified. Because in order to access the story of Season 1, you have to beat the main story first and foremost. They said that. You have to beat the main story, and there's some additional things you should do, like get the waypoints to the major cities, all the altars of Lilith, get as much renown as you can, etc. Why not just allow us to play Diablo 4 seasons on the Eternal Realm with our primary character? Because most players are probably just going to play one character. I mean, some may dabble and try out different classes, But there's a lot of Diablo players that are happy with a sorcerer, are happy with a necromancer, are happy with a druid or a rogue or a barbarian. And that's the character they want to focus on. It would have been added value to have made the seasons tie into the Eternal server. That way, once you reach rank 100, you know that there's going to always be more stuff added to the game. Yeah, you did the main story. You've been hitting dungeons and side quests. You maxed out at rank 100 with your main character. But good news, season 1's coming, and you have an entirely new story to go enjoy and a battle pass to work through with your primary character in the Eternal Realm. That's the way it should have been. But the seasonal server just makes you start over again. I mean, the good news is you don't have to do the main story because, I mean, for one thing, it clearly states that you're not going to be allowed to do the seasonal story until you beat the main story. So you want to skip that whenever you're creating a seasonal character. But this character will eventually be moved over to the Eternal Realm anyways. So I just feel like this is pointless. Like, this extra character is pointless. I get having a hardcore server because it's for more of a challenge. If you really want that pressure of trying to keep your character alive and trying to reach rank 100 with the risk of dying any moment and permadeath, then, that's what the hardcore server's for. But for almost everybody else, most people just want to play in the Eternal Realm. So I think that the seasonal stuff should have been tied to the Eternal Realm, and I don't think there was a need to create a third server for the seasons. Because if they would have done that, most likely I would have continued playing with my sorcerer. Eventually, maybe after I reached rank 100, I would have created a necromancer, eventually maybe a druid, and dabble here and there. But for now, I'm still in World Tier 3 with my sorcerer, so I'm still content with playing as my sorcerer. But thanks to the season, where I am focusing on the season, trying to get that maxed out, we have plenty of time right now, but October will be here before too long, hopefully with the fall and cooler weather. So it makes me less inclined, Blizzard, to want to buy cosmetics for a different class that I'm not playing in the seasonal server. Now, I realize there are players that are like, well, I'm using a sorcerer in the seasonal server. Well, that's fine, but I'm changing it up, and I would have rather been able to buy these cosmetics to use for my sorcerer, while at the same time continue to use my sorcerer for this season and maybe even future seasons, unless I decide I want to change it up in a future season to a different character, different class. But once again, it's just an issue that I have with the game right now, because what is the point in shelling out, let's just say hypothetically, $50 for 2 outfits? Expensive, very expensive. I still think the prices need to be knocked down. And like I've said before, there is plenty of other good cosmetics in the game you can find and unlock by playing Diablo 4. So you never need to go to the item shop, but I get it. Sometimes you come across a cosmetic, an outfit that you really like, that you really think would look great on your character. And unfortunately for me, I found 2. Mother's Mercy. Well, the female version of Mother's Mercy, this one, looks pretty good. And it looks like, see, both of these are, I guess they're very similar to Lilith's outfit. This was meant to, I guess, kind of resemble Lilith's outfit. And I'd take the helmet off. I'd just throw the helmet aside. And this one is not Lilith, but this one clearly is inspired by Lilith's outfit. But it's another succubus called Black Jade, because Lilith is the queen of the succubus, which would have included Black Jade. Another really good outfit for my character. And as tempting as it is for me to want to shell out some money and give Blizzard, say, $50 so I can have these 2 outfits, I'm deterred from doing it at the moment. It doesn't mean I won't. I may still do it. FOMO, fear of missing out. That's how they get you. The big reason why I'm not doing it is because I'm not playing my sorcerer right now. I'm playing with my necromancer, Jadis, named after my late cat. So I have less reason to be inclined to buy the cosmetics for my primary character. And I think that's the way it's going to be for a lot of players. They're like, well, I'm doing this season with a different class, but the skins in the shop look really cool. I would buy this skin for my other character. But my other character is in the Eternal Realm, and I'm not even using it. So what is the point, Blizzard, of the seasonal server? It really doesn't make sense to me. I think that the best thing they could have done is just have it streamlined through the Eternal server. All right, storage space. Now, it has been mentioned that they're working on trying to give us more storage space in Diablo 4. It's a memory issue, and that can be expensive. I guess Blizzard's budgeted the Diablo team with only a certain amount of money. So it's a little pricey. I mean, the good news is for my Necromancer, I only have one stash spot right now. I haven't bought any more. But here's the problem. It's very similar to all the gemstones, right? The skulls, the emeralds, the sapphires, the topazes. These hearts. Look how much inventory space it takes up when you get in these hearts. And I've already salvaged quite a few hearts. So I keep trying to salvage hearts, and I just keep holding on to hearts in case I need them. So I just wish that there was a better system here. Maybe a Herodic Cube or something that takes up one space that you could stockpile the hearts into, or the gemstones, like a gem bag. I know some people have talked about that, but apparently what they're going to do, they being Blizzard, is they're going to eventually put they're going to put a tab here, I guess, in the same section as things you've collected, like plants or skins, monster parts, salvage, etc. So I guess they'll have a third tab here for the gemstones. So if you're going to do that, then you might as well have done that for the hearts as well, and made it where the hearts go into its own tab, because you already have Malignant stuff in here. You have the Ichors, or however you pronounce it, brutal, devious, vicious. All this is in the storage tab, or whatever you want to call this. But yeah, I mean, it's the same problem. I mean, it just takes up storage space, and it could be solved by just having a gem bag for the gems, and a heart box, like a heart-shaped box, in the words of Nirvana, to throw all the hearts in for the season. That way, boom, you throw all that into the same box. I think that would be the best course of action for Blizzard to take. But no, it'll fill up your inventory. And yeah, I know, eventually I'll probably have no choice but to salvage more of these hearts. But you also want to be able to hold on to some. So I just don't really understand the system that they have put here for Season 1. But to be fair, even though I've been playing Diablo since the original Diablo back on PC, Diablo 1, 2, 3, Diablo 2 Resurrected, and now Diablo 4, I never really got into seasons on Diablo 3, so I'm not as familiar with it as some players. I know the premise is very similar, but I think during the seasons, they didn't have this battle pass system to go along with the seasons. And I totally understand changing it up, wanting to try different characters, encouraging players to run out there into Sanctuary with something other than their favorite character. But there are definitely a lot of players that are just content. They're happy with their Necromancer, they're happy with their Druid, they're happy with the Rogue, Barbarian, or Sorcerer, and they'd rather just continue building on that character because they've invested a lot of time into that character. They've built up that character. They've learned about that character, what they like about it, what they don't like about it. From the skills that they've added to the Paragon board. So I really don't understand the point of the seasonal servers. They complain about memory, right? The stash boxes. Hey, they're going to need to come up with more memory to add more stash space for us. But doesn't the seasonal server take up memory? Wouldn't it be easier just to have two servers? Eternal, which you would also do the seasons on, and hardcore for the hardcore players that just want a real challenge to see if they can make it to tier 100 without dying. Was there really a point in the seasonal server for the reasons I've cited, and other reasons others have brought up as well? Because it's not just Diablo 3 players that they've brought into Diablo 4. Yeah, Diablo 3 players and other people that enjoy other hack and slash RPGs that have seasons similar to Diablo 4, they're used to this type of system. But Blizzard has also been trying to appeal to new players to the Diablo franchise. That's one of the things they were trying to balance with Diablo 4, like bringing in old players and new players. And most new players aren't really thinking about restarting their character after they put so much time and hours and effort into this character in order to completely start over again. I get it. That's the appeal, but that should be a voluntary thing. That should be a decision you make on your own. Like, okay, I've had fun with the sorcerer. I'm ready to go in and try out the necromancer. You know, reach rank 100. I've done what I wanted to do. I want to see what I can do with a rogue or a barbarian. But with the seasons, it kind of forces you to create a new character. And I think most people feel the same way I do. They don't really want to go with the same class because been there, done that. Like, well, I already have a sorcerer. Unless you just want to try a completely different build. And see, now I'm paying the price for not salvaging or selling some shit. All right, so where were we? Oh, yes. We were talking about being forced to play a new class. So, yeah, I mean, I think it makes people less inclined to want to do the seasons. Because, like, I put all this effort into my primary character, and I explored the map. I got all the Lilith statues. I did all the strongholds and all the side questing and explored most of the map of Sanctuary. Well, this part of Sanctuary that is in Diablo 4 because there's an entirely different continent that the other Diablos are featured in. Well, I mean, Chaldean was in 3. But like Tristram and some of the other regions were in Diablo 1 and 2. That's on a different continent. But when it comes to the character classes in the game, yeah, it's awesome that we have different character types. But you're not going to like all 5 characters. I mean, maybe some people do like all 5 characters, but there's at least going to be one character class that you just don't want to play as, that you just want to avoid. You're like, I'm just not interested in like this class or that class, and you're content with maybe 1 or 2 classes. And there are some players that just want to play one class. They're out there. They exist. I'm not one of those people. But I wanted to be able to move on from the sorcerer to the necromancer or druid, like naturally, when I felt like that story was over. My time with the sorcerer had come to an end, or I just wanted a break. And by the time season 1 started, I didn't want a break for my sorcerer because I'm still trying to get to World Tier 4. I keep getting my ass one-shotted in that one World Tier 4 dungeon you have to go into. The Fallen Temple, there's those mini-boss twins that give you that death wave. Eventually, I'll try it again, but I got too salty the first time I tried. But eventually, I would like to get my sorcerer, Janine, into World Tier 4. But right now, I'm back in World Tier 2 with my Necromancer. And while it's interesting to try out a minion build, especially since I loved playing Necromancer in Diablo 2 and 3, I wasn't really ready to move on from sorcerer to a different class. I hadn't reached 100 yet. I hadn't reached World Tier 4. I mean, I get it. There are players that already have done that. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt. But not me. And I just felt like that it would have been added value and content, and it would have benefited our primary character to have included the seasons here on the Eternal. Well, not here on the Eternal Realm. This is the Seasonal Realm because, once again, I have to play on the Seasonal Realm in order to advance through the chapters of Season 1 and get through the Battle Pass before October 17th. So I have no choice but to focus most of my time in Diablo 4 on the seasonal character, which neglects my primary Eternal Realm character. And that's something that I'm sure a lot of players are not really thrilled about, because they just want to focus on that character. Because not everybody has reached rank 100. Not everybody has made it to World Tier 4. And there's a lot of players that never will go to World Tier 4 because it's too challenging. There's a lot that are just happy that they made it to World Tier 3. But there's still things I would like to eventually do. I'd like to continue working my way through the Paragon board with my primary character. I mean, I have gotten a lot of drip in the game with my primary character. And yeah, like I've mentioned, even though I don't like the prices of the items in the shop, of course they're going to add cosmetics that we're going to want to purchase for our characters. It's your money. That's the way I've always looked at it. But why should I buy cosmetics for my favorite character, my primary character, if at the moment I'm not even using my primary character, Blizzard? It doesn't make sense. And when it comes to the boss battle, well, not the boss battles per se, but the Malignant bosses, mini bosses, whatever. Like, I feel like they're repetitive. Like, you kill them once, and then you have to kill them again in order to get their hearts. Like, I feel like that's busy work. I feel like that's stretching this whole thing out. So yeah, I mean, why couldn't like Corman give you like a device that allows you to automatically take the heart from the enemy instead of having to resurrect them only to kill them again? It just seems like you're doing twice as much work there. It feels like it's being dragged out. And it really doesn't make much sense. What they should have done with the Malignant mini bosses or bosses is just make them tougher. Make them a little bit tougher. And that way it makes, beating them and taking their heart more rewarding once you have what you need in order to get that particular heart out of them. That's the way they should have done it. But no, you have to kill them, and then you have to, like, resurrect them again, kill them again, and then you get their heart. Like I said, busy work. But for the most part, that's the issues I guess I have with the seasons in Diablo 4. And overall, the season is not bad. It's not like blowing me away, but it's not awful. I mean, yeah, the rebalancing some of the stuff that they've done, like I haven't been too thrilled about, but they did some hot fixing, and it's just a struggle to try to properly balance the game, and it may always be a struggle for them. I feel like for the most part, the Blizzard team is doing the best they can. Plus, you have to realize that Blizzard is a company who answers to the higher ups like Bobby Kotick, and a lot of times, like the team at Blizzard are doing their best to, I guess, serve multiple masters. One, the player, because they're also gamers. B, they're also trying to serve their bosses, who are giving them orders to sell things and do things with the battle pass and try and make as much additional money off of Diablo 4 as possible. Even though this has been like the fastest selling Blizzard game in history, it's still not enough for Bobby Kotick and the heads of Activision Blizzard. They want more money. But that's typical of corporate suits. It's never enough, and they're never happy with just making profit. They just want to make ridiculous profit and bleed us dry for every last dollar, pound, euro, dime, quarter, nickel, penny that we have, which is why the cosmetic shops are so freaking expensive. But anyways, I guess I've rambled on enough in this video. So yeah, so far the seasons, I don't really care for this seasonal system. I mean, I don't have a problem with there being seasons in Diablo 4, just like with Diablo 3. But I really do think that Blizzard should have just tied in the seasons with the Eternal Realm and our primary character. That way I could still be working on ranking up my primary character, especially after I finished the main story and done a lot of side questing and exploring and getting all the statues and a lot of the dungeons and whatnot. It would have just been another reason for me to jump back into the main character and continued ranking her up and hopefully getting her eventually to maybe World Tier 4, at the very least level 100, which is like the end goal you want for your character. But at the moment, I can't do that because I have to focus on my seasonal character. It just really doesn't make sense to me. And yeah, some people make the argument, well, if you like the cosmetics so much, why don't you just create another sorcerer for your seasonal character? Why don't you just copy pasta Janine? It's not the same. It's not the same. Yeah, I mean, I could create another character that happens to be a sorcerer, which I've done for my hardcore playthrough with Harriet, but it wouldn't be the same because there's only one Janine, and I think most players feel the same way. Even if you were to make that character almost identical to your primary character, it would still feel wrong. It'd be like, yeah, I just don't feel this. It's like, why? Why do I have to go to this trouble when I already had a character that I could use in the seasonal realm? And that may have made me more inclined to buy those cosmetics from the shop. despite them being pricey. Then being like, okay, well, I'm not saying I won't buy them because I probably will, but I'd be a lot more quick to buy them for like two reasons. One, if they were cheaper, definitely. But it seems like they're getting their hooks in me. But then again, I haven't bought them yet, so that's a problem, Blizzard. Like, even though I really like the 2 cosmetic outfits for the Sorcerer, I didn't jump in and tell you, shut up, take my money right away. But isn't that kind of the goal? You want that knee-jerk reaction? You don't want the customer to think about a purchase. You want them just to do it. And right now, you're forcing me to think about it instead of just do it. Which means the longer I think about it, the chances of me actually buying the cosmetics decrease because of the fact that I'm not using that character right now. It's a shame you didn't add those cosmetics before the season started, because I probably would have bought them then. Even though I was fully aware of how it was going to play out with the seasons, with them, making us create a new character and have to focus on the new character. But yeah, overall, I just feel like that they could have done some things differently with the seasons. And I'm not the only one that has made this point or complaint about being forced to create a new character and not be allowed to just use our Eternal Realm character. It just doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand, especially if you first and foremost have to beat the main story anyways in order to access the story of Season 1. So it just feels weird because that character is the one that was lost in the woods, who lost her horse, who got drugged by that one town she helped and nearly sacrificed, and saved by that one priest, and started having the visions of Lilith, right? The visions of Lilith, the petals. She's the one who meets Lorath. She's the one who goes to Kiva Shed and goes on a journey across the map in order to try and stop Lilith throughout the main story. And all the people she meets and everything she did. So you put her aside, right? You put her aside. Your primary character, the one that did what they did in the main story, for a new character that didn't do any of that because you can skip the main story. I just don't have the same emotional attachment to my Necromancer as I did the Sorcerer, aka the primary character that I played as, that I played through Diablo IV first, and I beat the game first. And I think that might be an issue a lot of people have, is that emotional attachment, because we do get attached and invested in these characters that we build. From the creation to the way we have them look cosmetically. And there's even some like customization when it comes to the design of the character. Not a lot, but way more than in previous Diablo games. So that's a positive. So yeah, I mean, it's just less attachment. And when you have less attachment to the character, you're less inclined to want to come back in future seasons, especially once you beat the game. You're like, oh boy, I get to start over and create another character and create another class instead of using my primary character, which is the one I've already invested a lot of time and blood, sweat, and tears and salt into. As well as earning all this stuff, all this drip and, creating your own, I guess, headcanon and fanfic of that character. So with future seasons, I have a bad feeling you're going to see less and less people coming back. I mean, unless they just do some amazing stuff with future seasons, unless they actually do listen to what some people have suggested by incorporating like the seasons into the Eternal Realm so we could play with our primary character and continue that story. If they don't do that, then yeah, there'll still be people that do the seasons, but it may not be the numbers that they were originally hoping for. So I do wish Blizzard the best of luck with the future seasons, but at the moment, I don't really feel inclined to jump into Season 2. Like, under obligation, I guess I'm just working my way through Season 1, because I did buy the Ultimate Edition, which included the Battle Pass, and I'm just curious about, getting all this stuff unlocked, because, it's a Battle Pass, just like in Fortnite. But the difference is, in Fortnite, when I play Fortnite with my friends, I have all these cosmetics, either cosmetics I've earned through battle passes or cosmetics that I've purchased that I can use in future seasons and chapters. I mean, it's not like Warzone where, they take away your skins and once they shut down the servers, that's it. Well, once again, an Activision Blizzard IP. But with Epic and Fortnite, I have cosmetics that I've had since, over a year ago when I first started playing Zero Build. And I can still use them. And I probably could continue to use them years from now if I keep playing Fortnite. And future battle passes. So I like that aspect. I like that ability just to say, okay, well, I want to use today. I want to use this cosmetic, even though this is not a new cosmetic. It's an older cosmetic because I do have built up a somewhat of a Ramirez collection. It's just nice to be able to do that instead of Fortnite saying no. You can only use the cosmetics and the skins that are part of this season. Was it Chapter 4, Season 3? Like, that would be kind of bullshit, to be honest. Fortunately, you don't have to do that in Fortnite. And I get it. It's a different beast entirely than Diablo 4. So if there's one thing that they definitely could have done different, and I know I'm rambling, so I do apologize, is just make it to where we can play the seasons on the Eternal Realm with our main characters. And if you decide you want to play with a different character, then that's fine. You can do that too. You just switch characters. See, that would be the best thing to do, is that you could play on the Eternal Realm. And if you had more than one character, say you don't just use the Sorcerer or the Rogue or the Barbarian. You have like 2 or 3 characters. And you just, like, one day you want to play and grind as your Sorcerer. Cool. Tomorrow you want to work, the Battle Pass with the Barbarian or the Rogue or the Druid. See, I think that would actually be an improvement. That would make people enjoy playing through the battle passes and the seasons because you could change it up every day. Now, there's some people that would be hardcore about it. That would be like, no, I just want to play as a Sorcerer start to finish or a Barbarian start to finish. But then there's some like, you know what, I'm kind of in a Rogue mood today, or I'm kind of in a Druid mood today, or I'm in a Sorcerer mood today, or I'm in a Necromancer mood. See, that's the way I think they should have made the battle pass work, in the Eternal Realm, and connect it to all your Eternal characters. So you could just swap it out and the progress is saved no matter which character you happen to be using. But that's just my 2 cents about the season of Diablo 4. I'll keep playing it. I don't think I'll be streaming it anymore, but I'm going to keep playing it off stream just to try to get through it. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of repetitiveness to it, including the way you do the hearts, which I find to be kind of annoying. It's not a big deal, but it's obviously done intentionally to take up time instead of just beefing up and buffing the enemy a little bit, the malignant enemies, in order to get their hearts. You have to kill them twice. Seems a little ridiculous if you ask me. And then it does, in my situation, like the whole FOMO thing seems to be canceling itself out for the prices. Expensive. Even if it is enticing, 1 or 2 of the items, 1 or 2 of the cosmetics. But the fact that I'm not even using my Sorcerer right now in Season 1 makes me less inclined to buy the cosmetics. It doesn't mean I won't, Blizzard. It just means that you could have had a sale much faster if the prices were lower and if you had enough foresight to realize that, yeah, maybe we should allow people to play the seasons with the primary character and our, the Eternal Realm characters, so that they could just play whatever character they want to play with, and it all connects. And maybe, just maybe, when we do add better cosmetic items to the shop, they might be more inclined to buy them. Or not. Anyways, your thoughts, views, and opinions regarding Season 1 of Diablo 4 and things that I have brought up. Do you agree? Do you disagree? As always, your thoughts, views, and opinions, welcome below in the comments section.